As Interfloor Access Lifts, I am the sole distributor for Resi Lift, or the residential lift company. They're an Australian-based company from Tasmania. The product is Australian made, and it's got a ranking that it's there to assist people to stay in their own homes. It's actually GST free, and my involvement with the company was a little bit that my father-in-law was in Tassie. He had a 2-storey house, couldn't get up the stairs anymore, and we were searching for something for him that we could put in his house for him to stay, and we literally stumbled across Resi Lift in Tasmania, and they said, look, we're looking for someone to bring it to WA, so here it is. One of the good parts about Peter Van Emmerik, who invented the lift, is that he's really tried his absolute best that he uses Australian-made products. The motor's German, which we can't source in Australia. Pretty much everything else he is absolutely sourced to try and get in Australia. And I'm so proud of him because he will, although we could get it a lot cheaper, he is trying to keep the jobs in Australia. I'm very proud of him. I was actually doing some relief work for another company, and I got an invite through that company to come along to a census educational format about search engines. And I went along and I'm going, oh my goodness, I really need this for my business. Being a small business, having only been 3.5, or at that time it was 3 years, I was actually struggling to know what to do in terms of advertising, new in WA, I think especially in the new to the market in WA. And I knew I needed to do something, and I wanted someone reputable. I'd had some people come out, go through things, make offers of things. But once I'd been to the census educational program on what it can do, I have to say I was pretty much sold that I needed to do something. One of the reps, his name's Stephen, actually got in contact with me afterwards, and we talked about how we could progress and what we could do. And at the time I was a little bit hesitant because I was committed to some other forms of advertising. And then about 6 months later he got in touch with me again, so I asked him to. I said, look, how about contacting me again in 6 months, which he did, and I signed up. So it's 6 months now, and what I did when I signed up, I asked him, please look, depending on the business and costs and things, which is always, I think, for small business a big one, how much do you spend for advertising? In that 6 months, Yellow actually gave us incredible reports, tracking reports. What they did, they didn't just work on a single word. What they was doing was every month they were taking the stats, which I got a copy of, and I was able to ring them and say, look, could we try something different? Or they would look at particular words and they accommodated by changing words so that I was getting more and more hits. And it's proven to me it does work. Within 6 months, in fact it wasn't even 6 months, within 4 months I was on the first page. I was getting the clicks. You know, I can't fault the backup to what they have promised. They said they're going to do these things, and they have always done them. Okay, so I've got Yellow SEM, and again, this was my first small business. You're overwhelmed by, I think, number one, the laws, taxation, having money in the bank, and advertising. You're not going to get people looking at your product, I believe now, without being on the internet, and you've got to be up front with it, and you've got a budget for it. Having done this now for 6 months, I've realised you've got to be up there. I think Resi Lift as a company will speak for itself, and I would like to think that in 5 years' time we're well and truly established, that we've got Resi Lift lifts all through WA, not just so far as high as Geraldton and as far away as Esperance, but I'd like to think that we're going to be everywhere. Excellent. Steve didn't pressure. He listened to what my needs were, and we talked about what my finances were and what I could afford. And I think that was really good because he actually listened. He wasn't there saying, oh, you need this. He listened to what I could afford and then came up with a product and a way of doing it so that I could at least get my foot in the door, so to speak. And I believe my relationship with him, because he started that way, is that I can actually say, look, I really, really respect him and I respect Yellow. I think as my business grows and of course as the finances grow, so can what I do. I wanted a company that was reputable. Now, Yellow's been around a very long time and we know Yellow. So straight away it gave me a comfort that I was with a company that's been around a long time. It's a national company. I think it's going to be a long-term growth relationship. Now that I'm getting more people through the door, if you like, and I'm able to show my product, I believe in my product, I believe in Yellow. So I think the relationship's going to be a continuum. Sometimes in business, you don't actually know or meet the people at the end. And sometimes you're just doing a job, but it's people like me and my small business that actually relies on what you do. I can name some of the people that I've now had contact with in Yellow, and I'm so grateful because they've treated me like a human being, not just a number. They've listened to my concerns. We've actually been able to have a bit of a chat and make a relationship. And that's what makes it work, is the relationship. They've been honest and I've been honest, and through that my business is growing. So what I'd like to say to you is thanks, and do your job from your heart, because if you do your job from your heart and you listen to us, then we're both going to grow together.